I'm often asked, why do we need to focus on leadership so much if we want to succeed? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. And so a lot of people will come up to me after a training and say, hey, why do I really need to focus in on my leadership? Well, with bad leadership, you have higher turnover, less engagement, and you're constantly at the starting line in your business, and your speed is slower, and you're not making as much profits. So we need to really focus on the leadership because everything rises and falls on leadership, just like John Maxwell says. And so we need to be working on leadership if we're going to grow our business. So how do we grow that, and what does that leadership actually impact? Well, leadership impacts your engagement level. Gallup's been doing a study, and it ranges around 30% for engagement, and that's since the early 2000s. Now that's a pretty low number, right? Elementary math would tell you 30% failing grade. Well, we need to make sure that our leadership is high because that affects our engagement. And you might be thinking you have high levels of engagement in your team, but if you really look at it and ask those hard questions, I guarantee you're going to find some people that actually think they're not engaged, or that they may not be engaged enough. So without the good leadership and the people being engaged, we're constantly in a high cost environment. Now I say high cost environment. What does that mean? Well, when you're constantly onboarding people because people are burning out and leaving the organization, it's not necessarily the people, right? There's an old rule. If you've been married 3 times and divorced 3 times, it may not be the other people, right? We need to make sure that we are focused on our leadership because that keeps the people engaged and they're not just leaving for another paycheck. And now I've got videos touching that topic about people leaving and the grass is not greener on the other side of the fence, all that stuff. But when we have high levels of leadership, we have high levels of engagement as well because people know we're there, and people and money follows leadership. So we need to be engaging those kind of people. Now let's talk about that. What does that really look like on the leadership level? Well, if you don't engage the people, if you're constantly cutting people down, if you're not giving people the time of day, if you're not going out and doing your temperature checks, and if you're not going out there to build trust and likability and making the employees a hero of their own story, you've got poor leadership. We need to be growing our levels of leadership because when we don't have high levels of leadership, we don't have high levels of trust, and speed slows down. That means we're adding extra processes because we can't trust our teams, and they're constantly not wanting to make the decision, so they escalate every decision. They don't feel empowered, and that slows everything down when the trust is low. And that means costs go up. That means lower profits. We need to be focused on building higher levels of trust because when trust is high, speed goes up, costs go down, more profits. But that rises and falls on the leadership. So we need to maximize our leadership capability because rule number 1 of John Maxwell, the law of the lid, the team cannot go past your lid. So you can either increase your lid or bring somebody else in. But when you have high levels of leadership, there's more room to grow and you'll be more profitable long term. Now, if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. Contact information is below. If this video is helpful, hit like, share, subscribe, send to somebody you think it might benefit. That's why do these videos to help you. We'll see you next time.